What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Day Som, rap mixing for dummies. Today we're gonna be talking about EQ. So, what is EQ or equalization? Basically, raising the volume or turning down the volume of a select frequency. So, how does that help you? Well, it's very helpful for when you have to correct certain annoyances or noises. Or tones in your recording. So let's say my recording sounds too let's say dull or too muddy. What you would do is you would go down to the muddy frequencies, which I'm going to show you in a second, and you would turn them down rather than going to a higher frequency and just boosting it up and just trying to mask or cover up the lower frequencies. So first of all, I'm gonna show you a way how to train your ear to find out which frequencies are the muddy ones and which frequencies are the more clear, the more high, the airy, or the whatever you want to call it, the more crisp frequencies. So let's get to it. So I highly recommend getting FabFilter Pro Q2. I'm not saying you can get it for free because you shouldn't do that. You should go buy the software like I did. But y'all do what y'all need to do. So go to FabFilter Pro Q if you have it. And you're going to want to click. I already have one right here. But you're going to want to click anywhere on this line. And you're going to see this headphone right here, this headphone thing right here. And you're going to want to click on that. And you see how it has these lines and you can just drag it. Basically what it's doing is it's only playing those frequencies and excluding the rest of the frequencies out. You know what I'm saying? So basically you can hear only that select range of frequencies. So why this is really important or really cool is because you can understand by doing this simple trick is you can hear what these sound like. So I'm going to show you, watch. I'm going to play just a beat because I have a song I did earlier. But I'm just going to play just a beat and you're going to see what I'm talking about. So I'm going to play it and I'm going to show you where a muddy frequency would be. And you'll hear it as I play it. So let's get to it. So right here you can tell that I singled out the frequencies. Now as I go left and go lower in frequency, you can start to hear the bass or that muddy frequency. It gets more dark and it gets more dark as I go to the left, which is a lower frequency range. But if I go up to the right, you see how it starts to get a little more clear, a little more bright. And now you can start hearing the hi-hats. So the hi-hats are all the way over in the 14,000, or excuse me, 10,000 range to 20,000, which is really clear. And then if you go all the way down to the left, just wait for the drums to drop, and then you'll hear the drums more in the low section. You hear that? So basically, that's what muddy is. It just sounds more boomy. That's why you have drums. Like drums are boomy, and then hi-hats are really high frequency. You see what I'm saying? So if you do this over time and just kind of drag this over here to the left or drag it to the right, then you kind of get an idea of what sounds like what. Every instrument, including your voice, has different frequency ranges. But simply, if you want to hear what the ranges kind of sound like, just drag this left or right. You see what I'm saying? So that's a really fast way to understand, okay, what does a certain frequency sound like? So now that you can do that at your own time or own leisure, let's say you're feeling like you want your drums to boom more. What you're gonna want to do is you want to find, okay, where are the drums at, and obviously it's more to the left. It's really low frequencies, so it's gonna be anywhere from 80 to the 200 range, where the drums are gonna be the most boomy or the most exciting. So drums are gonna be lower, and then hi-hats would be higher. Now the claps and other instruments are going to be in the middle. That's if you want the hi-hats to go higher or lower, what you're going to do is you're going to come over and then raise this up or raise it down. So I'm going to show you what that sounds like. Okay, so you saw how the hi-hats, they got louder or more brighter, or they got more soft or lower. That's one way you can figure out how to EQ, or get an ear for what frequencies sound like what, is by simply clicking on the line, holding down the headphone thing or the icon, excuse me, and going left to right and kind of get a taste of what ranges sound like what. If you want a specific frequency, you can actually make this smaller by going to the Q or the bandwidth, and basically all that means is how many frequencies you're controlling at once. So if you make the Q higher, let's say it's put to 5, you see how the column got more narrow? But if you lower it, as you can already see, it gets wider. So you can do that with the Pro Q. That's why it's really cool. You can just kind of get an ear for what sounds like what. But a simple tip is, the higher the frequency, the more brighter it's going to sound. The lower the frequency, the more muddy it's going to sound and more boomy it's going to sound. Here's another tip. The best rule in EQing is to actually take away frequencies rather than add them. Now, this isn't always the case, because when you're mastering and stuff like that, you're gonna want to raise the top end a little bit to make it sound more clear. But let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, here's another tip for EQing, and this is a really good one. Let's go to the vocals, and I'm gonna show you what less means. Less is more, what that means. So watch. Now I'm gonna warn you, this is gonna get really irritating, so you might want to turn down your headphones or your studio monitors, and but enough to where you can hear. So what you want to do is you're gonna want to get one of your EQ bands right here, one of these circles, and you're gonna want to raise the Q up to around 10, or you can do it higher. Just make sure it's narrow, and you're gonna raise it all the way you can go. And you're gonna be like, why am I gonna do this? Well, because you can tell which frequency is the most annoying when you do this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna sweep through. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna sweep through, and you're gonna find out which frequency irritates you the most. And once you find that frequency, and you'll know, and I'm gonna show you in a second, you'll know when it irritates the heck out of you, and you're gonna be like, whoa, I can't take this no more. Then you're gonna be like, yeah, that's the one I'm gonna take out. And when let's say this frequency right here is annoying as hell, what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to go to the gain, and you want to drop it 3 to 6 decibels. Sometimes you can drop it down to 9, 10. I mean, there's no right or wrong way, but the lower you drop it, the less natural it's going to sound. But 3 to 6 decibels is going to be a safe bet. If you want to, if it's really irritating and you want to push it, especially if you have like a cheap mic or something like that, and there's a certain frequency that's really irritating and you want to get it out the way, then you might want to drop it down to 9 decibels. But let me show you what I'm talking about to give you an idea. So let's play just the vocal.
Feds just watching all this dirty money talking. Don't do this often, but today I used my helicopter. Flew to Cuba, met the plug for exclusive offers. Bought the product, got the best narcotics. Feds just watching all this dirty money talking. Don't do this often, but today I used my helicopter. Flew to Cuba, met the plug for exclusive offers. Bought the product, got the best narcotics. Buy the product.
For example, that frequency irritated me like no other. So I dropped it. Put that about 6. And you're going to want to drop at least 3 frequencies.
Then I flip it like an acrobat. If it ain't a kilo, then I got no time for that. All this dirty money talking like go buy a Benz. Feds is watching cause he don't know where I get my ends. I got the best narcotics, you can tell by all this profit. Got workers in the kitchen whipping till I'm in the coffee.
And then do it one more time. Put it around 10. The bandwidth. And raise it.
I'm in love with all the hustle, you can call me Russell. Cause in this game you can't think singles, got a triple double. Baby, I just messed around and used my helicopter. And if you talking crazy, then I'm...
Now you're probably like, whoa, that really didn't make a difference. But when I bypass the EQ, you'll tell that it sounds a little more clear, or a little more pleasing to the ears. Now, let me play it with, or actually, let me play it without it, and then show you the difference.
Feds just watching all this dirty money talking. Don't do this often, but today I used my helicopter. Flew to Cuba, met the plug for exclusive offers. Bought the product, got the best narcotics. Feds just watching all this dirty money talking. Don't do this often, but today I used my helicopter. Flew to Cuba, met the plug for exclusive offers. Bought the product, got the best narcotics.
You see what I'm talking about? It makes it sound a little more clean, a little more pleasing, and it's real subtle. But this is the best way to start EQing. If you have no clue what you're doing in EQing, like I didn't when I first started, you're gonna want to boost up the frequency as high as you can and find the annoying frequency first, and then drop it about 3 to 6 decibels, about 3 times, and you can go all the way to like 5 or 6 if there's 6 annoying frequencies, but a safe bet is about 3 to 4 times, so you're not changing the audio super drastically. But that's another way that you can start getting more efficient sounds in your EQ, is just by simply making your bandwidth around, your bandwidth around the 10, or you can make it even skinnier, go to 15, and raising it all the way up and just sweeping it left to right and finding an annoying frequency that rings or has a really that rings really loud, or is really boomy or really muddy, like in the lower frequencies, like the drum frequencies, but it's on your vocal. You're gonna want to drop it down 3 to 6 decibels, and you just do it about 3 or 4 times, and I guarantee you your audio will sound much cleaner by just doing this simple trick. So once you lower about 3 or 4 frequencies that are really bothering you, then your song is gonna sound much better. It might be subtle, but it's gonna make the difference, trust me. And so that's one real quick, easy way to EQ. So figure out which sound is which by dragging on this icon. and you'll get a more of a understanding of what you're raising, what you're boosting. Now, one quick tip. If you want to make something sound more clear, rather than boosting a whole bunch of high frequencies, what you can do is take down some low frequencies, and what that's going to do is you can hear the higher frequencies more because the lower ones or the muddy ones are turned down. What you're going to want to do is, if you don't have the Pro Q, you can use a multi-band compressor. It doesn't even have to be by wave, but I like using this one because it's really nice to me. But you can single out frequencies by pressing the S button, and you're going to see that it's yellow. That means solo. So it's only going to play those frequencies, so watch.
Money talk, don't do this often, but today I use my helicopter.
And those are higher. And that gets even higher. And to the lowest. You see what I'm talking about?
Helicopter.
So you can really get a flavor or a really better understanding by just soloing different frequencies, you know. But that's my tip, or those are my few methods of kind of understanding how to, or learn what sounds like what, like which frequency sounds like what, so you're not just randomly guessing which, you know, what should I be raising, what should I be boosting. I recommend using a multi-band compression or the FabFilter Q to single out frequencies to hear, you know, what you're doing. And always EQ, after you kind of understand or get a better ear for the EQ, you always want to EQ with the music going. Because if you don't EQ with the music going, it might sound good and just by the vocal or just by the beat, but when you play it back, then you're going to be like, oh man, this sounds different, or it doesn't really match the vocal, or the vocal doesn't really match the beat. So you always want to EQ and do this stuff while both things are playing. So those are my tips, and hopefully this helped. And this is just a basic video. And I'm going to come out with compression, and I'm going to come out with more tips how to EQ and really get into depth. But if you have any questions or want me to make a video, then please comment below, and take care.
Feds just watching all this dirty money talk. Don't do this often, but today I use my helicopter. Flew to Cuba, met the plug for exclusive offers. Bought the product, got the best narcotics. Feds just watching all this